What's up, guys? So today we have Coach Mostert and Coach Stirrett. Coach Stirrett coaches was retired, but used to coach at Unity High School. It is about 30 miles south of St. Joe. And Coach Mostert coaches the Cavemen. We just interviewed on them. Has 600 views. Thank you guys so much. That's crazy. So I was thinking that Newberry Park beats their school record, but that was on a track, and I did not realize that. So I apologize for that, Coach Mostert, but just know they're coming.
Oh, yeah. They got a real young squad. They're really good kids. I was talking to their coach last night. He's a great guy.
So how's your guys' day been? Coach Stirrett.
Excellent. It was sunny here. It was cold, but it was sunny.
Coach Stirrett,
I'm sorry, what'd you ask?
how has your day been so far?
Oh, it's great. Yeah, we're having some very nice weather for December here. So you bet. Good running weather, actually, isn't it?
So some of their accomplishments is they are both state champions, and Coach Stirrett has the lowest point total in Illinois state history for the Class 1A state meet. So, what was it?
30 points.
30 points, sorry.
30 points even, yeah.
Like,
Coach Stirrett didn't have that, his kids did.
So Coach Mostert was coached by Coach Stirrett in high school for Champaign Central. How was he as a coach, Coach Mostert?
He was great. I had moved after my sophomore year from Quincy High, and coach assimilated me into the program right quick, and they became all my best friends in high school, and I'm still in contact with quite a few of them to this day.
So Coach Stirrett, how was he as an athlete?
He was a very good athlete, and he fit into our team very well. I mean, immediately. He came from Quincy as a fine runner, and he improved, as did our team, and he was a very, very important member of the team and a very good runner, a very outstanding runner for us. And we actually ended up with a pretty good team. As I recall, Timo, your junior year, that junior squad got to the state finals, and nobody expected us to do that, and we shocked a lot of people at the sectional meet. I'll be honest with you, you guys didn't shock me. I had a feeling we were going to do that, but it was a very good relationship, I think, that amongst our team, and Timo fit right in. He was a team leader, and he was a good runner, and he led by actions. He was a good example for the rest of the team. We were lucky to get him from Quincy.
Yeah, it was a true team that there weren't any egos. Everybody just worked hard together on all our intermediate runs and long runs. We just stayed as a really tight pack and pushed each other, and coach gave us the right workout so that we did keep improving during the season. And yeah, I just posted last year was the 40th anniversary of that team in '79 that went to state. Posted that on our central webpage on Facebook last year.
Yeah, it was a very balanced team, Lance. We had quite often we had a spread of less than 30 seconds, and actually at the state meet, I think our spread 1 to 5 was something like 15 seconds. I don't remember exactly, but it was very, very close. And an interesting thing about it, they were all pretty even. I don't know that we really tried to run as a pack. It just worked out that way, I think. You'd have to ask Timo, and you'd have to ask the guys. I don't really think it was an intended thing. They were just a very balanced team. And I can remember after the state meet, of course, in the state meet that it's easy to get lost. There's so many runners in the race, and it's such a fast competition. And after the race, well, I remember talking to the guys, and we, like I said, we only had about a 15-second spread, approximately. And at no point in that race did any of our guys see any more of than two of their teammates. And it wasn't like we tried to pack up. They didn't even see each other, like I said, and it just worked out that way. It was they were pretty even, very balanced.
Yeah, I think we were 15:35 to 15:58 for seventh man, so 23 seconds for all seven.
So, what is your favorite part about coaching? Just in general.
Go ahead, Coach.
Say that again, Lance.
What is your favorite part about coaching?
Oh gosh, there's so many parts. I obviously, really, my favorite is just the kids, working with the kids, yeah, having a relationship with the kids. But one thing I really do enjoy is seeing them improve. Improvement is big to me, and I, no matter who the runner is, I don't care really so much about the level they're running at. Well, I do. Obviously, we do. As coaches, we do. We want to see everybody be really good. But the improvement to me is to see them improve not only in their times, but in their understanding of the sport and their improvement in how they race, how they compete. I really feel that's important. And I think that's one thing that really motivates me to coach. One of the things I've enjoyed is, feeling that the input that you have as a coach is really meaningful, and that it's really helping the kids, and seeing them improve in many ways. Not just their times, but in the way they approach a race, the way they compete, how they feel about themselves and their confidence in themselves. Yeah, that's really important to me, seeing them grow. So
Absolutely. That's about everything I would say too. I love going on the trips with the boys and all doing all the workouts with them. When I was younger, I'd run it with them. Now I'm on a bicycle, but still being alongside them and working up through and talking to each kid. And I especially enjoy when they start having success, when they see the fruits of their labors, and you see the excitement that it gives them. That just brings you joy. I'm sure it's like when any parent sees their kid do something fantastic, and that's what gives them satisfaction, that they know that they've done something to help someone else have happiness and joy in their life.
So, what is the biggest thing you learned from Coach Stirrett?
Um, I think it's just that if you're consistent and in applying basic principles of good training, that you're going to improve and you're going to be successful. And he gave us great training, and for the 2 years I was there, I improved quite a bit and was able to then go on and run in college. And um, I don't I don't know if I ever missed practice. I would miss school and come back for practice after uh, and not miss practice. That I think all of us on the team, or at least us older guys, we wouldn't let each other down. We didn't want to let coach down. So just that consistency of day in, day out, doing what coach asked us to do. And I know my junior year, when I first moved there, when we had our meeting in the summer, coach said, I want you guys to run 5 miles every morning. And he didn't check up on us. I don't remember if he ever checked up or asked any of us. We didn't meet together. Well, we didn't meet with coach. We were just on our own, but me and the other varsity guys and we met every morning and ran by ourselves or with each other. And it was just, that was the expectation. And we believed in coach. So we just did it kind of automatically. And times have changed. I've met with my boys for the last 30 years in the morning, You know, I enjoy the morning workout before school. You know, it releases a lot of good stuff in the body. But we just believed in Coach, and he said, I want you to run every morning. So we got together and ran every morning.
So, Coach Stirrett, I know you went to EIU, Eastern Illinois University. What was it like running there?
It was great because we had a team actually that really resembled the team that Timo was on and that Timo talks about. We were very close. Our relationship was very, very close. We were a group of young men that came into Eastern Illinois University. Our whole team, everyone was from Illinois, the state of Illinois. We had, as freshmen, we had a group of freshmen that came in that was, you know, not great, but outstanding in their own area. I mean, we didn't have any state champions, but we had conference champions and we had good runners, but we were very, very close. We liked each other and we improved dramatically. We pushed each other and we challenged each other, but the relationship was always very, very close. It was, I still say to this day that those guys on that team, they were my brothers. And I still feel that way. They were my brothers. And I enjoyed the college experience tremendously, and in running and racing and competing. And, you know, I really, you know, I suppose it's not for everyone, but I really do recommend it. If a kid wants to run, he wants to continue running out of high school, there's a place for that kid, boy or girl. There's a place for you somewhere. If you want to compete in college, it may not be at the Power 5 level. It may not be at the Division I level. It may be Division III. It may be whatever level it is. The junior college level, there's some place that's an opportunity for a kid coming out of high school to run, and I highly recommend it. I enjoyed the college experience very much, the running experience very much. And we ended up a very good team at Eastern. We ended up, we won a couple national championships at the Division II level. And we weren't anything fancy when we came in there, but we worked together and we worked hard. We all had a common goal. And it was good. I can remember our assistant coach, actually the man that recruited me to Eastern, Tom Woodall, when we got down there the first week of practice, one evening we went to one of the classrooms in the field house there and had a little talk. He kind of gave us a little orientation session, and I knew he had a good group of guys. He had recruited guys. Like I said, we ended up, everyone on our team by our senior year, everybody was from Illinois. We did have a couple out-of-state guys as freshmen when we came in, but you know, the attrition, we had guys that dropped out, and that happens just about everywhere. And we had some guys that dropped out, but we still had a good group for 4 years. And when that first year, that first week, he made the comment to our team. He says, I think we've got a very good group here, and I think that you guys have the potential to win a national championship before you graduate from this school. Well, that was, to win an NCAA championship was like lighting a fire under me. I mean, that opened up a whole new avenue of thought to me. It was an opportunity. Of course, I believed every word the coach said, and I think we all believed that, and that really, Lance, became our primary goal, or one of our primary goals, probably our top goal, was to win a national championship before we graduated, and we won 2 of them. So it was a great experience. Loved it.
Now, Coach Timo, I know your team obviously just broke the record with the fastest all time. You have just under a top five national, well, NXN average placing. Do you ever feel pressured at meets to get a good placing?
Well, I don't know if you call it pressure. We look at it as opportunity. And my boys, the only reason we train is so we can race as best as we can. And we want to get as fast as possible. And so the process goals that we go through in our training is to finally make those outcome goals of being state champion or going to nationals, trying to be national champions. But we don't talk about it a lot during the season because we're so busy trying to achieve all our process goals every day at practice. We know the outcomes we uh, can't do anything about how anybody else is training or how fast they're running or anything. So we just concentrate on doing the things that we know to the best of our ability. And we know that in the end, if we're doing everything possible that we can, then we're going to have some positive outcomes. We're going to get either to our goals or close to them or exceed them. Like this year, the boys, when they went to Huntsville, they weren't trying to break the record. We knew that we could have a really, really good race, that we were ready for it. We'd had our previous race was really, really good. And they went out there to try to win the meet and run as fast as possible while running smart races. And that outcome of breaking the record was just a result of them trying to concentrate on the process.
So, another question for you. With Coach Christensen, you always like to say that you would, if you could have your kid get coached by any person, you would always say it's you. What is the biggest thing he has taught you?
Coach Stirrett?
No, what is the biggest thing Coach Christensen has taught you? Sorry.
I have learned so much this summer, a lot more about sports physiology. I took physiology in college as part of my coaching minor, and that's something I've always recommended to my advanced placement students. If you want to go into education, try to get a degree in STEM, because science, technology, engineering, mathematics, because that'll guarantee you a career placement at any school. But get a coaching minor, because that's the fun part about teaching high school, is working with all of your athletes, and it's a great catharsis after a hard day of teaching and grading and all that stuff. It's a great fun thing to do. And so I've learned a tremendous amount about sports physiology, and it's been good to verify a lot of things that we do, and even down at the mitochondrial level or cellular level, why the things we do in our training are working on making our athletes as good as they are. He's talking, Coach Stirrett, about Scott Christensen at Stillwater, Minnesota. He's one of the teachers in the level 2 coaching program.
Okay.
So, with your state record, was there anything that you did? Well, obviously you did. You're the coach. But is there anything big that you just did different, or what did you do?
There wasn't. Obviously, I was fortunate to have an outstanding group of kids that dedicated themselves for their high school careers, dedicated themselves to running and improving their running. We actually had 2 of the guys in our top 7 that didn't run their freshman year. A kid named Andrew Orange, you may remember him, he was our number 1 runner, did not run his freshman year. He didn't do anything in the fall, but he came out for track his freshman year, but he didn't run cross. And the other kids really kind of talked him into coming out. He'd been pretty good in middle school. He'd been a pretty good middle school runner, and I was very impressed by his middle school efforts, but he did not want to run. He thought his running career was over with after middle school. Kids talked him into coming out for track, and he came out for track, and he liked working with us. He liked working with the group. He was outstanding really as a freshman. And so he thought he'd give cross country, stick with it and do it year round, and he did. And the other kid was Getch Eisenmenger, a young man who in middle school, he ran and had tremendous talent. He played soccer for his first 2 years. And then he decided to come, yeah, I know. And then he decided to come out for cross country. And I asked him why the change, because I really wanted him to come out as a freshman. Very talented kid, tremendous leg speed and a lot of endurance, and a competitive little guy. And he told me the reason he came out, finally decided to come out for cross country, he wanted to be on a team that wins. And so he did come out. Of course, he ended up, finishing in the top 10 in the state, 8th place actually in the state meet his senior year. And all of these kids it was another team, Timo, that was very similar to yours in their balance. All these kids were pretty much the same. Andrew Warrens was out there just a little bit on the others, but the most of them, it was a very balanced team, and they often ran in a pack, sometimes by design, sometimes not, but they were just pretty equal, very competitive, very good group of kids, and it was easy. My job really was pretty easy. You ask, what did we do different, anything special? It goes back to what Timo said earlier, consistency. I think consistency was the big thing, and it was over 4 years. It was kind of a 4-year project, really, building, and we'd had a couple disappointing state meets when these kids were underclassmen, sophomore and junior year. We had a couple disappointing state meets. We finished 5th and then 4th. In the 2 previous years, and someone at the state meet did not run well. We did not have good team races, total team races at the state meet, but they were good. I mean, a lot of teams would be thrilled to finish in the top 5 in the state meet, but we were not pleased with that. And so when they came back their senior year, they were really motivated and maybe had a bit of a chip on their shoulder, wanted to prove themselves, and they certainly did. But the consistency was probably the big thing. I can't say there was any one big thing, Lance, that was really any different or stood out. It was just consistency, and we stuck to our guns, and it paid off. It paid off. It took 4 years. It was a long process, and it works. And that's one thing about distance running, endurance athletics. It's a long-term thing. It's very seldom do you see someone come out and be a star right away. I mean, to the level that they could get to. I mean, it takes time. Takes time and patience. As a coach, I have to be very, very patient. And I don't know. I feel that I am. I try to be. Realistically, that's what you have to do. That's part of the sport.
So, Coach Mostert, with your 4x16 national record, how did that become a national record?
We ran faster than Grey Goat's national record. That's how you get a national record. You run faster. Oh, yeah, I had 3 really, really good seniors. A lot of people have said they're the fastest high school trio in U.S. history. They went, later in the season, they went 4:02, 4:03, and 4:06 in the mile. So I just had to find a really good fourth. The year before, they had run 17:01 for the 4x1600 at altitude, but the 4th guy on that team graduated and went to Idaho State, and he was on the national junior mountain trail running team, and just graduated. He's working on a graduate degree in chemistry while finishing up his running eligibility at Idaho State. Really good guy. He's run, I think he's broken 14:30 in the 5K. So I had these three good guys, and then I had a couple young sophomores, and during cross country, I had just, like Coach said, you have to be very patient. I couldn't push them too hard or they'd break, and then we had a big gap after 5. And so I had to kind of just be patient with them as they progressed. And we took second at nationals in cross country, and it was mainly because the first 3 were all America, and then the next 2 were like 80th and 105th or something like that. But when we went to Arcadia, the boys decided they went, and it's during spring break, and we always train through indoor track. That's kind of like January, February, March is like June, July, and August for us. And, Arcadia Invite is the first weekend in April. And so we did what our spring break training would be, except for we had a meet on Friday and Saturday. I went down, visited a brother who was Mika was living in San Diego at the time. Coach knows some of my siblings, and went down to visit him, and then we drove up to watch the meet. And they just went out with some parents, and I had one of my sophomores as the leadoff leg. He'd run 4:29 or 4:28, so I thought he had the potential of running 4:23 at sea level, and he was able to. It's a really big pack. There's like 35 teams in that 4x1600, and he was able to run 4:25.5. And I thought, oh, we're not going to get the record because I think Great Elk's record is 16:52. And they're the only team to break. They did it twice the previous year in 2016. They're the only team to break 17. The previous record before that was Meade, with 17:01. And McKay Johns, our first senior, who was the second leg, he took off in like a 58, and I was screaming from the 200, stay relaxed. And he was able to run a 4:08, and then 4:05 for Patrick, and then a 4:01.9 for Casey. And so we broke the record by almost 11 seconds of 4:10 average. So it was I was able to talk to Dr. Jack Shepard from Track and Field News. He was there, and I went up to the press box and say, what paperwork do I have to fill out for a national record? Because all our state records, there's like, a ream of paper you have to fill out to get a state record changed. And he's like, I'm here. I saw it. It's a record. And it was very electric. The boys said they couldn't hear anything, but the crowd was just so loud, because we lapped every single team except for 4 other teams in the race. And the second place team was from Lone Peak. They're 2.5 miles from us, and they took second place. They beat Neuqua Valley was third place. So it was probably one of the most amazing races I ever saw, because I thought there's no way we're getting a record after the first leg, and the boys just cranked it out. And the foundation of all our training, I learned from Coach Stirrett and from Coach Rincuso at Quincy, that Lydiard base and foundation, that's how I was trained in high school. And that's the things that, when I stopped doing all the stupid popular stuff in the 90s, that's the stuff that helped us to get as fast as we are now, is going back to the basics of putting a lot of good mileage in at aerobic threshold.
So I know it's really cool. I hope. What is it like to hold like a national and a state record? I know I hold a school record. I mean, that's pretty cool, but like a national and a state record, that's crazy. So what is it like to hold one of those?
Oh, I don't know. I very I don't think about it that much, Lance. I figure, you know what? That record there someday, maybe somebody will break. It's going to be a tough record to break, but it's there. That's why we have records. They're there to break, and somebody someday may do that. In a way, I hope they would. I mean, it's great to do it. It feels really good. Actually, holding the state record, in my mind, has never really meant that much to me as just actually winning a state championship. I mean, that's something that they can't take away from you. And the record's great, but hey, that's a goal for somebody else to shoot at. And it's great. If you get it, it feels great. But the state championship, that's really special.
Yeah.
I agree. We were talking about that on a Zoom coaches call last night. And I said, I would have rather have had the state championship this year than get the record for team time. We took second place by 5 points, and one guy was coming back from injury and one guy was coming back from low blood iron, and it wasn't our day. But yeah, I'd rather have a state championship because you wear that ring with pride forever, but a record someone else is going to beat. And it's a great honor to be able to say we're a record holder, or that we were. I mean, I was a record holder at Champaign Central in the 3200 for a total of 1 year before Mark broke it. Mark Thompson broke it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I can say, hey, I held a 3,200 meter record for a year. So enjoy it while you got it, because it can be pretty fleeting. I think I had a couple of records at Parkland College too, and Mitch and Matt broke them the next year. So yeah, records are meant to be broken. Coach is right about that. It's just a great honor to be able to be on a list, and people. I keep very careful lists at our high school. Our top 10 list is something for the boys to give them motivation to see if they can make it. And I know when I was at Central, Coach put up a record board right by the gym entrance where we'd meet every day. And during track, or at the end of PE, when I'm standing over there waiting for the bell, I just looked at that record board every day, and saw that time and thought, I think I can break that. And, that's why we, as coaches, that's why we do things like that, because it gives motivation, internal motivation for our athletes to try to excel.
All right, well, thank you guys so much for being able to come on and being able to do this with me.
Thank you, Lance. Thanks for doing it. Thanks for asking, and thanks for getting me and Timo together. Good to see you, Timo.
It's great to see you too, Coach.
All right, well, again, thank you so much, and you guys have a great rest of your day. See ya.
Thanks, Lance.
Thank you, Lance.